Living Seed Media brings to you God's Word, which is His comprehensive equipment for changing lives. May the Lord impact your heart as you encounter His Word. For further inquiry or counsel, contact Peace House, P.O. Box 971, Boko, Benue State, Nigeria. Telephone numbers 0703 0363659, 0703 7681198. Email address lsmedia@livingseed.org, or visit our website at www.livingseed.org. Let us sit back and listen as the servant of God brings forth the word of life.
Praise the Lord. Please, can we be settled? We want to quickly go back to our seminar and take off from where we stopped yesterday. Now, we're aware that we couldn't take all the slides of the seminar that was to be presented yesterday. We also received a number of questions that we're supposed to answer, and on account of time, we defer the answering to today. But at the beginning of the presentation today, we want to give an assignment to each and every one of us, especially those who are beginners with the use of ICT for teaching, for research, and for other purposes in academics and the training of our children. We want you to write down, if you are a beginner, those things, what you can do for now with the computer specifically, and the difficulty you think you have with it. Ushers will collect them, so that as you collect them in the question and answer session, we'll be able to guide you on where you can stand, how you can start. Because we notice that the purpose of this meeting is for our transformation. And Romans 12:2, we want, if you take time and read that scripture after that, you just have to be transformed by allowing your mind to be renewed here. And if you don't take decision to act on the things we are learning now, you will likely throw them aside once we leave this place. And since we don't want you to throw them aside, we want to know what the difficulties are and assist you as much as possible to taking off. So you will put down milestones, what you will do immediately you leave, so that by the time you return to any of the workshop we'll have opportunity to have again, you will have had things you've achieved. Now, a number of questions were asked as regard getting the resources and materials for teaching. Teaching is, we have decided that the ICT lecture that is being given will be sent to our email addresses, so that you will have it to review. It will help you in planning and adapting your own lectures or your own lesson plans, so that you can become effective with it. For those in the tertiary academics, we've also decided to include websites. One, for you to search for conferences, websites you can access for grants, and websites for other teaching resources that we feel are essential. You will get them when you get the attachment in your email address. So please endeavor to ensure that your name is clearly written on the workshop. You know, yesterday, that pro forma was passed through all the workshops for people to write their names, and that include the email addresses and phone numbers. Ensure that your information is legibly written. If possible, the email written in uppercase, so that we don't, in an attempt to send them, they don't start bouncing back. Now, we also want us to know that we need to empty ourselves of the phobia of saying we're too old to use computers, we're too old to apply ICT for teaching or for preparing our lessons. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7 says we should remove the old leaven and we will allow ourselves to be renewed. We want to invite our brother. He will teach, and at the end we'll have the opportunity of asking as many questions. Please write them down. The usher will collect them for you. Brother Akintunde will now come and continue from where we stopped yesterday.
Just to keep us in perspective, the essential labors of the teacher. Now, it becomes imperative for us to be at par with development in technology. We just learned that there must be a deliberateness. There must be a desire, a willingness, a directed intention for us to actually get involved in this labor. And part of this is learning the tools that will make us to be effective. Now, that is also a warning that ICT is merely a tool. It's merely a tool. And if we see it that way, it will help us. But it's a tool that could be wrongly applied. And as we move on, we will want to see how we can effectively do this. So we will continue from where we stopped yesterday. And as we do that, I want us to know that there are so many things that we are yet to understand, but which God will help us to understand. So can we move on to where we stopped? Just to refresh us. Now, the sites are there, and you will get them. Can we continue? Next slide. The slides, as we mentioned, provides for all levels of learning: primary, kindergarten, secondary, and tertiary. Next. Now, there are a few resources that some of us have been asking for, and these include those for research. This website provides opportunity for you to address your writing requirements. The second one talks about research ethics. Of course, you know that there are ethics in research. In many institutions, you are required to sign ethical responsibility before you conduct research. And this is even more pronounced in the life sciences. Certain procedures, there are disclosures if you are doing behavioral research. Apart from that, if you are carrying out a survey, social survey. There are protocols, there are ethics that you need to observe. And this particular website can assist in that. And then upcoming research conference. I thought if we want to grow more, we might want to learn about this. This one is for this year. Can you click on that and let's see e-research. And by God's grace, it will be taking place later this year in South Africa. And in this conference, we will get to know what are the things that will be happening. At this site, you can register for it. You can find out more. It's in October. As you can see, 6th to 10th October in Cape Town. E-Research Africa. Registration here. If you have an abstract to submit or you just want to ask questions, you can get in touch with them. Just to, these things are real and that they are continuous. Next slide. In this domain of open educational resources, OE, and by the way, today we'll try to move as fast but knowledgeably as possible. We'll try to see if we can cover the diverse needs that we have. At the same time, we will not stampede us, okay? So we'll try to understand with us. Now, there is a growing development in the world today, and that is the Open Society Initiative. So we are now beginning to have open content, open resources, open journals, open textbooks, open classrooms, and that's why we can access resources easily. And it's a very strong movement. Now, when we talk about open educational resources, we are talking about resources that have been produced by credible authors. They are not by the way. And in the past, they've been published with a lot of cost, very high cost. But some people deliberately are insisting that these resources should be in the public domain. And we don't have to pay for it. So when you hear of open educational resources, don't think that are junks. No, not necessarily junks. It's possible one or two may be uploading their resources, but for this, as you will come to find out, you will discover that they are real, credible sources. Open educational resources are teaching, learning, or research materials that are in the public domain or released with an intellectual property license that allows for free use, adaptation, and distribution. So you can prepare your lecture and you make it open. Now, the open movement, especially at the tertiary level, which has now engulfed other levels of education, started with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the US. And they decided that lecture notes will be made available by professors. They will be made available free. All the lectures, including their questions, assignments, and grading scheme. And today, we have more institutions that are doing this, and it has enhanced learning generally. Next. Now, these are a few of such open educational resources. The MIT, you can go there and you will discover that virtually all departments, all courses in that university, they have their resources available online. including lectures that are past in several years back and current lectures. Question papers, grading schemes, and all that. Now, if you go to this site as a student and a higher student, as a lecturer, as a teacher, you can enhance your own lecture notes. You can enhance the preparation of your own lectures and questions with a more international perspective. Now, we also have open textbooks, college, that's university, open textbooks. Then the Khan Academy. Now, in this academy, somebody initiated it, and what you have there, they are lectures, full-length lectures. And so you see the lecturer either teaching mathematics, teaching physics, teaching biology, full-time course. And you can listen, and you will watch how problems are solved, the questions that are raised in class, and it has been of tremendous help. Then Academic Earth, I actually want us to quickly open academicearth.org. That is a collection of textbooks and videos also. And we will try to see if you can also go into these. Now, yes, you can click on that. Academic Earth. It talks about rethink education. And let me just read this. Academic Earth believes everyone deserves access to a world-class education, which is why we continue to offer a comprehensive collection of free online courses from the world's top universities. And now we take learning outside the classroom with our original series of thought-provoking videos designed to spark your intellectual curiosity and start a conversation. Watch, learn, share, debate. After all, only through questioning the world around us can we become to better understand. And you can see Columbia University, Dartmouth College, Dana, Carnegie Mellon University, Case Western Reserve. These are great institutions, many of them in the top 10 in the US and in the world. And they are offering their resources free. Now you can see this practical math from Harvard, including Harvard University, MIT, we talked about Stanford University. You can see the number of lectures from Harvard. We have 195 lectures. From MIT, 1008. I told you that they initiated this. Now, popular online college courses, accounting, management, business, online education courses, psychology courses, marketing courses, and playlists, that is how people react when they get into this. Now, these resources are available. It's not that we are faking them. We have gone directly online in your presence now to access them. We will have continued to go deeper into them, but for the time that we have, we will just move on. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Now, this one, African Virtual, I hope how many of us are aware of African Virtual University? Now, the African Virtual University is based in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, and here, courses are developed by those who are domiciled in the continent or in the diaspora, but with the content tailored to Africa. Let's look at that site to know a few of the courses available. Now, these courses are available at the secondary level, tertiary level. They are all applicable. And I've looked at them before, and they've been very, very useful. You can adapt these courses. You can also contribute to the African Virtual University. And the courses are available for people to be able to look at anytime. Now, when you go into this Of course, you will follow the protocol of registering and of contributing. There is a process of vetting, peer review, before the courses are placed online. While that is opening, can we go to the next slide? We'll come back to that. That one is still opening. Next. Now, this is the home page of the MIT, that's Massachusetts Institute of Technology courseware, different courses. I've always advised students that you can go here to supplement what we are giving you, because here is more comprehensive and is real-time online. What is happening, what is current. So if we don't know what is most current, at least in Harvard, in Massachusetts, they should know. And you can supplement and complement whatever we are doing. I think an effective lecturer or a lecturer who seeks to be effective will also want to access some of these sites so that you can both update and augment your own syllabus. Next. The open courseware, this is where you now find the courses. You click under the courses and there is what we call a drop down. In other words, you now see that list come up and you can choose business, ecology, engineering, fine arts, health and life sciences, and it goes down and you can select the one that you want and choose, navigate, you can spend your time, and that is it. Next, the open textbooks. These are purely textbooks. Credible authors, authentic, highly qualified, specialists in their various disciplines, but they are made available. We know academic publishing and others, they are highly regarded, but the resources are being made free. So, what the library of your institution can do is to aggregate these sources, provide a link for them because they are free, and your students, your lecturers, they can gain access to them. So, if your library is not able to do that, you as a course lecturer, you can create a link from your own site, that is your personal website, or from your departmental website, and link up to some of these. Like these open textbooks, it will take us time to go through, but it's very dynamic site and they are current materials. Next slide, please. Now, opening further the open textbooks, you have the different subjects available. Textbooks, not just journals, textbooks. Anthropology and archaeology, art, biology and genetics, business, chemistry, computer science, economics, education, engineering and electronics, English and composition, health and nursing, history, languages and communication, law, literature, maths, music, philosophy, physics, political science, and on and on and on. Everything that you need is, for me, exciting that foreign exchange funding will no longer limit access to education. What can limit is my personal initiative or my willingness to explore new possibilities and opportunities. Next, please. The Khan Academy, this is the video lecture room in various subjects. It is particularly strong in the sciences. I always advise, especially for students who are having challenges in mathematics, that, okay, go to Khan Academy and look at the topics. If it's integration, algebra, whatever, you can go further. You can listen. You can watch. You can see how solutions are found for this. Yes, next. Now, can we go to the African Virtual University we were trying to open? It should have opened by now. That's right. It's still opening, but scroll down. Yes. Highlights, mechanics, the partners, the open courseware about African Virtual University. These are just the preliminary pages. Let's continue with our slides. We'll still come back there. By the time it's open, it's important for us to look at this. Now, the academic art, we had looked at this online. Next. Now, having known this, we are beginning to discover that many people have challenges in accessing resources. So, okay, how do I go about it? Now, somebody suggests, Google it. And I say, well, Google it, but Google is not all. You must have what? A search strategy. There must be a strategy. You don't just kick a vehicle and say, we are going to Boko, or yeah, start the car, and you start moving. No. You need to gauge your fuel, engine oil. You need to look at your time. You need to know how the traffic will be, what are the villages you are going to pass, what are the situations of those, and what is the particular situation of people. Now, you must have a strategy in this situation too, when you are searching for resources. We just mentioned there are thousands of volumes of materials, intellectual materials available at the kindergarten, at the primary. We saw especially kindergarten and primary yesterday, and we are beginning to see deeper materials that are being put together today. So such strategy implies that before you set out, you determine what you need. That's the first thing. What am I going to look for? Now, I want materials on making clip art. Okay. So, making clip art, do I just go there? You know, the problem many of us have when we go into libraries, and I've heard many people say that, go to the library, you find materials that you need. And they come back, they say, we can't find anything. Nothing in that library. Now, a library with about 1 million volumes of materials, and you go there, you say, nothing. Now, there is actually something. But what you are looking for is the exact wording of your topic. And if you go with that mindset, you are likely not going to find it. Because the topic you are giving is possibly because it has not been investigated before. And you are now going to do a novel thing. And they say, okay, go and find this. So the next thing for you is, say, determine your search terminologies. So the making of clip arts for kindergarten illustrations. If you go that with that sentence, you might not find it. But you now come and say, okay, I need something on clip art. What are my search terminologies? What are those words that I'm going to isolate, put together, combine in order to get the best, directly what I need? And so you say, I'll need to prioritize. That's probably the first thing you do. What is the most critical term? The use of clip arts in kindergarten teaching. What is the most critical word or term here? Clip art. What is the next? Kindergarten. And what's the next? Youth. Now you can now go down and say, okay, since the first thing is clip art, that takes the higher order of priority. And the next is kindergarten. So I go and look for clip art. And when I search for clip art, you are going to find millions of resources referring to clip art in this, clip art in education, clip art in advertising, clip art in this and that and that. And you say, oh my God, that is not what I want. So you say, okay, now, what I want, clip art for educational purposes. So you write clip art without any space in between and you say plus education. Now, when you say clip art plus education without space in between, what you are saying is that, computer, you are a robot. Is baggage in and baggage out. What I'm asking you to do is only clip arts that are related to education. So already you are refining, that is what they call refining your search terms. But you also know that if you do that, you are telling the robot that whether it's tertiary education, whichever type of education, bring this clip art. But you don't want to go another length suffering. So you say, no, I want clip art plus education minus tertiary minus. And as you go on like that, you are already refining. And because it's a robot and it has been programmed to respond to signs and symbols, is going to add this and eliminate this. In subsequent meetings and opportunities, as God will grant us the grace, we will be able to go deeper and be more specific, maybe in cluster groups, to explain some of this. So be ready to juggle your search terms forward, backward, and you refine them. Next, please. Now, reference materials, you know, these days to purchase dictionary or encyclopedias, they are very costly. And some of us, we have our libraries filled with Britannica of 1970, Encyclopedia Americana of 1980. But you can get these online even today. And they are free. You have general dictionaries, you have subject dictionaries that deal with your particular subject area. So you are writing, you are preparing your lesson notes, and you suddenly discover that there is a terminology that you yourself will need to first of all educate yourself on before going to the class. So you quickly and smartly check online for this. The dictionaries are there, free dictionaries, the thesaurus are there, and subject encyclopedia. Both the general one and those specific to your discipline. Now, one way you can do this, if you don't already have them on your system and you are online, in other words, you are connected to the internet, you go on a search engine like Google or Yahoo or the Bing in Hotmail. Now, how you identify that is that whenever you open to those sites, you will just see what we call a bar. That's space. And that is where you type in what you want. Even if you type it in the address bar, by the time it searches, it's going to give you direction that you can go down. Okay? Now, when you do that and you type in subject dictionary dash sociology, it's going to give you subject dictionaries only on sociology. And the good news for those who don't have internet connectivity yet, or who may not have access to the internet all the time. Once you have internet access, you can maximize the opportunity by downloading some of these resources. They are also downloadable, though not all. They are downloadable, and you can now put them, especially those in the primary school and secondary school, you can put them in the computer that you have placed in your library, and your staff and students can go back to have access to them. Next. So, what happens, because we've been talking of search engines. Now, a search engine is the program, the crawler, is that feature of the computer that goes around from one computer to another all over the world. You know, when you talk of internet, what you are actually saying is network of interconnected computers. Network of interconnected computers. That's actually the full meaning of the internet. So, the computers in Peace House here, they are connected. Calvary Arrows, they are connected. Then they are connected from that place to this place. And in each of the schools that we have come from, and this is replicated from one town to another, one country to another, and so there is a web of computers that are communicating to each other. That is the network of interconnected computers. Now, when you now say you are looking for something, why you see that thing doing like this and doing like this is because it is searching different computers from Nigeria to Africa to Europe to America, and trying to collect the best of these resources. And when it brings them out, it has been programmed in such a way that it will also prioritize, depending on your search history, it will not give you the most relevant, what it thinks. Remember, it's a robot. What it thinks is the best for your present situation, unless you reorder your priority. And that's why when you need something, it's important, instead of you to just enter the forest, why don't you understand where you will get the best meat? Is it in Yankari Game Reserve or Kainji Game Reserve, or which other one that you have? Now, when you know that, you will be more specific and you will be more profitable in whatever you are looking for. Now, the search engines therefore go around and aggregate resources into what we call directories. Now, these directories are further broken down into specialties, so that anybody from any background, whether it is fashion design, entertainment, anything you want, even public speaking, preaching, you can go directly, and you don't need to go to the general search. And that's why, you know, we said Google it, yes, but Google it is not the end of it. If you understand what you need, you just go directly for the search engine that already aggregated resources for that. And what we have done here is to give you a list of search engines from A to Z. What these things have done is to aggregate resources, whether they are journals, books, or illustrations, whether they are videos, prose, cliches, newspaper articles, anything that will be relevant to your need. You know, in those days, while we were studying, we had to go to the library and you will be checking abstracts, you will be checking dissertation abstracts and theses. But today, these things are available in a fuller and wider dimension. There are general search engines like Google, Bing, AltaVista, Excel, Lycos, Yahoo, Galaxy, and so on. But there are also specific subject search engines. These are just instances. When you go to this website, and I think they should click on that, you will see more. Yes, you can click on it, but let me quickly talk about this, that accounting, business, law, each of them has their specific search engines. Sciences, there are many of us in the sciences. And many of us are gloating, oh, we cannot find the journals, we don't have access to the books. If you come to Cyrus, just type in Cyrus, you will see vast resources in all dimensions of science. There are journals, there are articles, there are term papers, there are proceedings, anything, they are available. LexisNexis, Matinday.com for law, free book, SearchNet for books, general books, Bioinformatic Harvester. If you are in the medical sciences, if you type in, maybe you go on your Google, just type in Bioinformatic Harvester, and you will discover different directories. You will now also choose, okay, which of these will be most relevant to my particular need? And as you open, it will take you to another level, and gradually you will get to where you are going. The college search engine for universities worldwide, that one tells you or takes you to different universities all over the world. So if you are searching for where to do your sabbatical, where to continue your education, what are their courses, the curriculum they run, the quality and category of their lecturers, you'll find them by the time you click on college search engine for universities worldwide. Now, next please. Next slide. Aha, here we are. As you do this, as you search and you are finding resources, there is a word of caution. And what's the word of caution? Watch out against plagiarism. Plagiarism is a criminal act which should never be mentioned among children of God. It is a breach of intellectual property right. And even though we have what we call commons license, the open text, open educational resources, many of them are provided under commons, what we call commons license. You will still sign a license. So it's not as if it's free, you can quote it anyhow without acknowledging. No. For every material that we are using. And we need to teach them right from the foundation level that we need to acknowledge sources. And one of the ways to do it is to save your links. As you are browsing, you can open up a Word document and you just copy that link and paste it. As you go to the next, you copy it and paste it. The reason why you do that is, as you browse, you are likely to keep moving on. as you identify relevant websites, relevant resources, and you might have closed one window that you intended to come back to. And so you will have lost that. You are not able to go back to it. You can also bookmark it. All this we can take in other opportunities. But this is very important, that we save our links, or you write it down and put the date that you are accessing the material. And we will have an example of that. We talked about plagiarism detectives. And we mentioned Turnitin is a word as we find it. Turnitin. And that is the word. Now, I want us to look at it because a number of people were asking, how can we access this? It's available. If you have an iPad, it is free for the iPad. And once you search for it, you begin to download it if you have your iPad properly configured. So this is it. You can see, Turnitin. You have the features, overview, original check, grade mark, and it tells you, for instance, look at this one now. You can see these red marks, and it is saying, let me try to read it. It says, citation needed. So it already detected that the flow of grammar at a point indicates that you have broken from your own flow into another person's flow. So indicate citation. At the end of the day, you might discover that all your work have red marks. You know, for some of us, we just copy here, bim. You say, praise God, this thing is already there. My work is finished. You know, we have experiences of people, when you ask them to do research project, they go from one school, they disappear. They disappear, and when they come back, some will bind the project and submit. Fast. Like Jacob, when he was dealing with Esau. So quick. And what has happened? He only went to another school, removed the front page, put his own name there, and everything is 100%. So you will now start reading, and you will discover, like somebody said, as it happened in New York, and what is New York with Nigeria? The reason is that even to copy, he didn't know how to copy. And if we are going to be effective, we need to be extremely careful. We might not have this software, but we need to be careful to go through the works of our people to be able to know how they are flowing. Now, if as an institution, because it's usually for institutional registration, you need it, there is a direction. Can you move up please? Training, support, about resources. If you click here, learn more. If you want to register as an institution, it's going to ask for your data, and you can subscribe. I really don't have an idea of the cost, but as an institution, I think it's something that you can easily, conveniently acquire. Now, let's move on to the other slides. Now, is OAVU, this is the search engine list. It goes down and down. Now, AVU, let's check African Virtual University, this next one, yes, is coming up. So now, the advantage with African Virtual University, this was the page we were trying to open earlier. It's in 3 basic languages spoken in Africa. You know, we were colonized by the Portuguese, by the French, the English. So they are available in whichever language you want the resources, they are available. Scroll down quickly. It's still coming up. We'll come back to it. Let's go to our slide again. Next. The next thing here is preparing bibliographies. You have found the materials you need. What next do you do? It's important that you also capture the sites, whether it is textbooks, the physical ones, or the electronic ones. And this is for all levels. So it's not only for tertiary, because even those of us in K schools, you know, we go for further studies. You want to be able to refer back to a material you used. So it's important for us to jot down our resources, the resources that we are using. Now, remember, I was making an illustration earlier. When you copy the link, put it accessed August 15, August 17, and you continue your work. Possibly you add the title of the article or site. But even if you didn't add that, as long as you have been able to do this, next time you can easily go back to it. The other thing you can do is to use bookmarks. When you use bookmark, it means that anytime you come back, it will open exactly to that page that you left off. And there are bookmark signs on the horizontal screen. The upper horizontal screen, there are bookmark signs that you will see. Now, look at the bookmark sign here. Look at it here. Yes. You can see. Now, this is a drop down of some of the bookmarks that I had made from my previous search. You can see a couple of them. Thank you. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, referencing style. What is a referencing style? A referencing style is the particular way that materials consulted are organized so that subsequent references can be made to them. And this involves the in-text, that is, as you are writing within the text, and the aggregation of the materials at the end of your work. So when you are talking of a referencing style, it's not talking only the references. No. I think we've always made that mistake. It has to do with the way you do your paragraphing, you do your quotation, you set out your tables, you put your plates, the way you write a thesis, the way you write journal article, the capitalizing of headings, the sectionalization, the way you do the sections and subsections. Now, this is covered under referencing style. Whether you are going to start with only one author and their full first name, you are going to reverse the surname or put them in sequential order as they appear. That is referencing style. Where you will put the date, the number of pages. Now, when we know this, it helps us produce materials that are excellent, internationally recognized, publishable, and will become effective. It's not only for us now. Even our students will appreciate this, and they will reproduce their kind. They will reproduce their kind. So, you need to know the referencing style that is suitable for your work. For some of us, the only one we know is maybe Harvard. And everything is Harvard, Harvard. And even the Harvard, what you know is only how to arrange the name of the author. But I can tell you that for different disciplines, there are particular and peculiar referencing styles. We'll take a very quick look at some of these as we move on. Next slide, please. The major referencing styles which we have for chemistry and related disciplines, we have what is called ACS. For physicists, we have American Institute of Physics. Now, probably you never thought that physics had a referencing style. Physics has its own peculiar referencing style. Now, for psychology, education, and other social and behavioral sciences, of course, you know APA, American Psychological Association. Next. Then, humanities, social, biological, and physical sciences, you have the Chicago Manual. For biology and other life sciences, you have Council of Science Editors, that's CSE. You know, for some of us, it's Harvard for everything. No, there are peculiar ones. There are peculiar ones. And now Harvard, natural sciences, social sciences, education, business. Then IEEE, Institute for Electronics and Electrical Engineers, you have electronics and electrical engineering. They are peculiar. And if you are going to be a scholar that will not be turned down in or outside, then you must give attention to these details. Ezra, remember, he gave attention to learning. He knew it, he practiced it, and he taught it. May God help us. Modern Languages Association for Humanities. Then, for those who have to do footnotes, like in arts, history, English, and literature, you use the Oxford footnoting system. The footnoting system can be breached with other major referencing styles, like the MLA and Chicago. Then Turabian is mainly for student references, and Vakova is for medicine and in some places humanities. I think this helps us. Okay, thank you. Let's move on, please, quickly. How about the social media? Wow. Yahoo, Yahoo, Facebook, Twitter. Now, social media is meant to be a bridge between the formal communication and instant messaging. To get this very, very clearly. Social media communicate events as they happen. They make announcements, and can I tell you there are over 200 of them. Yes. Next slide. Can you see? This slide cannot even contain. But what many of us know is Facebook and maybe Twitter. Over 200 of them trying to pass information across. You know, God has placed in us an insatiable need for communication. And that's why if you lock up a man for so long, he will start talking on himself. But for us, we need to communicate life-transforming messages. So, next, what do we find? Skype is mainly for real-time, face-to-face correspondence. Many systems today, that's laptop or desktop, they have what we call a web camera, webcam. And so, even as you are typing and you are connected to the internet, the person at the other end that you are connected to will be seeing your face and will be watching the movement of your mouth as you are typing. Now, Skype does that. You can also do what we mentioned yesterday, synchronous communication. Actually, this is very synchronous. It's real-time online. That's synchronous. Now, Facebook is asynchronous. It's store and forward. But Facebook has notoriety because people have been misusing it. And people put pictures to represent them that are fake. People have committed all sorts of crimes. But people have also used the opportunity to project Christ. Now, for young people, Facebook in particular takes so much of their time, because once you are there, there are people communicating, and you have the what we call a general world, that whatever you are saying goes to the whole world. You have messages that are meant only for people in your group. Now, if we want to have a Facebook for only those of us here that no other person can read, we can create that. That is possible. So you can have Facebook for your class, only your class. You can create it. And no other person will break into it, because you have set it that way. Now, many young people are very excessive. The things that they will not talk face to face, when they get online, they will talk very carelessly. Actually, somebody can carry out a research on this to check the psychology of people or emotional status of people because of what goes on Facebook. Of course, Twitter, like we said here, is a notorious news alert. Now, what Twitter does, Twitter usually will not exceed 150 words. So you can just quickly say, ICT, National Teachers Conference, you use the acronym NCTS, ICT is on. We are right on Facebook, right on Twitter, that's all. And somebody might tweet, and somebody might also send a picture to accompany this, to show that it's real. Twitter is a bullet announcement of events as they happen. And that's why some people go for it. Blogs, small specialized fuller contributions to ongoing debate. If you have a blog, and blog is very easy. Like I said, we don't have all the time. In other opportunities, we'll be able to deal with this intimately. Then LinkedIn, I've seen many of us on LinkedIn, is mainly for professional alliances. If you are specialists in particular places, you now begin to see alerts of opportunities, of jobs, of conferences, or things like that. That is what LinkedIn is. Because I know some of us, we say, if I don't know it, let me not dabble into it. I think it's good. But where we are, what we need to know, we should also know. And what we need to practice, we should also practice. Okay? Next. Now, if we are going to incorporate ICT into administration of schools, we can use the social media effectively and general ICT for communication between school and parents, students. You can use email. Get the email addresses of all your teachers, of all your parents, and start communicating with them. I'm just trying to find out how you are doing over the break. My children, I hope you are taking good look after them, and they are supposed to do this. Remember, we are resuming on so date, and these are the requirements. Now, that could be more effective than when school resumes. Everybody comes and say, why didn't you buy this? Well, we will not allow your child to enter school because we gave you letters when you were going home and you didn't follow up. No. Now, ICT can bridge that gap. In between the break, you can follow up with this. You can announce it. You can, your alumnus, you can keep them abreast of development. And like we said, you can use Facebook, you can use blogs, you can use Twitter for announcement. Next slide, please. Then, online discussion groups. This is usually a technical matter. So those of you that are in particular disciplines, that are pursuing a particular purpose, you are in a particular group. Now, the problem with online discussion groups is that you have a barrage, a barrage of responses and updates. And they keep coming and coming because, you know, we sleep at different times of the day in the world. So as you are sleeping, some are waking and they are walking and they are telling you the advances, they are asking questions, somebody is offering solutions. And if you have difficulty in installing a software or hardware or preparing something, you can ask in the discussion list. And this has helped us tremendously. A number of people come and say, what do you need? Say, go to this, join this group. When you join this group, you will have technical support. And that saves you a lot of headache. Next, please. So, what do we do? Having had all this, can you please sign up? Participate. You don't have to speak when you are online. When you join, you don't have to just speak anything because everybody is speaking. No. You know, the Bible says in Proverbs 10:19, in the multitude of words, there lacketh no sin. We need to be careful. We need to know this. But it's important for us as teachers to understand many of this. So that when our students jump about, hey, I'm on this, you also know the limits that they can go. However, when you do speak, go beyond agreeing with a previous comment, especially on the listservs, the technical ones. Make definite and uniquely progressive input, whether in the class discussion group or in the online update. Next, please. This is another critical area. Managing accounts. Many of us, we have network accounts. You sign for this email. And by the way, if you have Twitter, Facebook, or any of these social media, you must also sign in. Now, the problem many of us, because of ignorance, we have, and many of us have gone through that. You go to a cyber cafe because you don't have connectivity. You go to a cyber cafe, please, I want to send an email. They open up a page for you. You say, please open the thing for me now. You say, what's your password and your username? Help me to type it. You know, when our brother was speaking yesterday, he made an illustration that when you don't know something, you cannot keep your own secret. You have to ask others. And many people have had their email accounts, many of their secrets stolen because they could not master. You go to a cyber cafe and say, my password. How did that my son put it? Okay, this is it. And they put it for you. And once you are done, you send the message. You say, that's all. You go. But that person in the cyber cafe already took note of your access ID. And that's what they now use to come back to your account, all your mails. Another thing many of us do is, when we are in a public place, whether in a cyber cafe or in your school, you open your account, you've done it yourself, but somehow, when you finish, you just close the window. You didn't sign out or log out. You need to log out. If you don't do that, what will happen is that after you close the window, the next person to use that computer, when she opens that same, whether it is Google or Yahoo, with his own account, he will just see your own come up like that. And all your mails, you just read them one by one. And God save you that is not somebody who is evil. One thing we can do is, because of the multiple access codes that we have, email, your institutional account, your Facebook, your this, for everything, your bank, you need to have a user ID. Now, you can write them out that you will keep secretly so that nobody will be able to get them. You can store them in a file on your system if you have one. And you can also write them manually that you keep in your purse, because sometimes for some of us, you have so many accounts here and there because you are involved in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 and 5 and 10 of these, and you have to keep changing passwords. It could be difficult. What if your account was hacked? In other words, if somebody broke into your account and they say, I'm stranded, can you send me 1,000 naira or 1,000 pounds? Have you received such mails before? Some people's accounts had been broken into. What you do in a situation like that, immediately change your password. That will take care of it. You don't need to forget about that account. What you do is change your password, and that will start off. You will continue to have access to your things, and that other hacker will go out. Next. So the question is, which of these groups do I then join? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever? Well, your choice may be based on your present and future need, your continuing education, skills acquisition, and the technical support that you need. That may determine which group you go into. Yes, please. We'll soon be done. Yes? And the gadgets you need, can I advise? Even if you don't have a computer. You see, these handsets that we have, they are not for show. I keep telling the students that I teach ICT that, look, when you say, I'm on BB, some of them, they just throw it on the table. Not for anything, not because they don't have space, but they want to show that they are of a different class with their colleagues. I say, no, you are spending so much. If all you need is to talk, go and buy multi-links. In fact, for 3 months last year, multi-links was speaking without charging anything. But for BlackBerry, you have to pay subscription and you have to keep paying access fees. Now, having an internet-ready phone is because of need, not for show. And that means you can check correspondences, you can read news, you can do so many things. You can access these resources that we are talking about. a laptop, desktop, and tablet. Now, tablet could be an iPad like this, or the Samsung, or the Nokia. Several others have theirs. Then, voice audio recorders, digital projector, and screen. Okay, thank you. So, I will need to stop here, but there are several other things that I thought we needed to know. However, you know, we cannot finish it in one day, and may God help us. Thank you very much. Let's take our questions.
Praise the Lord. Now, we have taken the much we can out of the lecture. I think we've done a lot, and we are ready to take questions. First, we want you to send your questions. We have a few persons who are ushers, can help us bring the questions. We'll take the questions, and I have some here. I want our brother to come up. We'll take the questions together before we pray. Now, we may need to read out these questions because we don't want them repeated. So, do I give them to you? Now, the first we have here, somebody is asking, I've been on the feed and have no knowledge about computer or ICT. How do I start? So, we're going to respond to that immediately, how we can start. Then we have a question here. Somebody is asking for the difference between a website and institutional repository. The difference between a website and an institutional repository. Another of our brother here said, you said there are websites that have come. Okay.
Please, let's exercise patience. Just give us a few more minutes. Don't be standing up. It's not the best. Please exercise a few more minutes. Let's be through with some of the questions. All those ones that are coming, you may need to seek private.
Now, there are websites you said are used by COM people. Is asking how do we identify such sites and ensure that we also make sure that we don't expose our children to websites used by for witchcraft and for all forms of initiations. Then somebody is asking these following questions. Please, can we get your phone number? Okay, you'll get that on the Purposeful Academic. Is it possible to undertake an online teacher's course from any university in the world? Please give addresses. 3, how do I start with a nursery school child on ICT training? And 4, what are some genuine ways of making money through ICT? That's one of our brothers. Now, another here, he said, thank you for opening my mind on the issue of website. My question is, how do I open or create website? What are the steps to follow? I'm asking because I have been interested and eager to do so, but I have not been able to start. And the last question we have immediately here is on, I'm concerned about the use of the Facebook, as many people are exposed to too many worldly activities which is not beneficial to them, and the young ones are not using the Facebook profitably. As a mother, I have decided not to participate in the use of this facility, and have in time tried discouraging my children even though many of them still participate in this. What do you think about the use of Facebook as a correct Christian? Now, our brother will respond to these ones. If we have space, we'll quickly sort these ones and take.
Thank you very much. Failed without knowledge of ICT, well, it's very simple. You're in the field doing your research, or you have a school, you don't have ICT facilities. Very simple. You see, the cell phone that you have is an ICT tool. And the keyboard that you have on the cell phone is the same keyboard that you have on a computer system. So, what a computer is just an elongation, enlargement of the cell phone. Now, you know you have a keyboard, you also have screen, isn't it? It's the same thing you have on a computer system. So you already have knowledge of ICT. At least you click to text, to call a number. Is the same thing that you will click if you go on the computer, whether it is a laptop, a tablet, or a desktop. Another thing you can do is, when you now have access to the computer, and before you do, you can actually manually write down your results. And when you have access to the computer, you would now key in. You can open a Word template, Microsoft Word, or if it is open access, you now use that Word to put down what you have, the figures, your results from the field. And you can use spreadsheet. We have slides that actually deal with this. Spreadsheets, how you can do this. You can also use Microsoft Access as database, especially for school proprietors and proprietresses, to keep records of your. You don't need to buy any software. They are already there in the applications you have that came with your system. Spreadsheet, Excel, or Microsoft Access, you can use this. Microsoft Access is a database and can keep records of students, records of books, records of anything, a store for your facilities that you have in your institution. Many of them are available, but we need to explore them. So, briefly, that is what you can do. You can start working with those, and you will not be left out. Now, a website, as opposed to institutional repository, a website is a comprehensive arrangement of the different facilities in an institution or organization. It's a collection, an aggregation of these facilities, so that if you come here, you click, it will take you this. If you need this, it will take you. Now, an institutional repository is a one-stop place for the intellectual output of an institution. So, all your researches, whether completed, published, ongoing, they are there. Memorabilia of the institution. That is, even your invitations, your guest lectures, everything, they are there. That is an institutional repository. An institutional repository is a part of an institutional web presence. So those are the things that make up a website. I hope that clears. The current people that use websites, and how do we take care of this with children? Yes. For anything you have in this world, there is always a counterfeit. I think we know that. Even for this gospel, there are counterfeits. And until Christ's second coming, I don't know whether we can stop them. But for our children, there are some software that can block certain websites. For instance, if you have a laptop for your use and you know that your children will always want to use that, or you will ask them to do certain assignments, it's possible for you to acquire such a software that will block sites of pornography and some other businesses that are not correct. There is a program that can block these sites. And some institutions, especially for kindergarten and primary, they always install this software when they have internet connectivity in their institutions. And this helps out. But again, that is when you are watching. What if they now go out and access the same thing? But as much as it lies in you, you are able to do that. So there is a possibility for that. Now, online teachers course, there are so many. Okay, here that they are flashing, you can see sites for grants and funding, for scholarships and university education, Association of Commonwealth Universities, technological self-improvement like Singularity University. For those of us who want to visit the Silicon Valley, where computers are made in California, there is an opportunity for you, and please access it. You might win the scholarship or funding to go there. It's possible for you to do any training online. The matter will be the cost. Of course, you also know that Open University in Nigeria is more or less online, even though it is not exactly online as you have abroad. And I think the cost is more affordable. So for teacher education, you can have it in Nigeria, you can have it abroad online without leaving your place of work and your family. But the word of caution for those abroad is that usually the cost is towards what they will have over there. Now, nursery ICT, I would sincerely encourage this. There are so many software and even the computers that are made to be trampled upon by children. Those ones are available. It's just looking at the market and you'll be able to get this. The ones that children can close and bang and other things, and the things will not spoil. And they also have limited capabilities. Those are available that we can use in the nursery. We don't need elaborate resources inside the ones for them. Then, genuine way of making money online. Of course, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness. All other things will be added unto you. Now, if you win one of these scholarships or the grant, have you made money? It doesn't have to be cash. But you are glorifying God when you do it the right way, and you visit that place, you are representing Christ, and you are taking the gospel there. You know, when we have these opportunities, I always find it as an opportunity to represent Christ. I go with Christian literature, I seek opportunities during dinner, during interaction, to interact, to ask about their destiny. And I think if God is granting us such opportunities, then we should make it count for Jesus. So, making money online is not the ultimate, but if you want to make money, that is to conduct business, genuine business, is possible. But not this Forex, so not Forex. Please avoid it. I heard that some churches and fellowships are preaching Forex. No, it's not godly. And many people have run into debt and ruined their careers and homes. And I'm talking practically, because of engaging in such online businesses of Forex, making money. But you can engage in creating websites for people, in doing so many things. There are many things you can do as a correct child of God. Creating websites, well, that's not a big deal. there are some languages you need to learn. That's coding languages like the hypertext markup language. It's also possible for you to just, you don't need to learn some of those languages to create. There are some sites that can teach you how to create. But the first thing, what do you want? You need to be able to itemize this. Because those are the things that you will now put on your website. Those are the things that will not determine the priority and the focus. It will not show, okay, this is the one we will highlight, this is the one that will be hidden, this will be a drop down, and things like that. So creating website shouldn't be a problem. The last one here, Facebook versus parents. Well, the software I mentioned should help, but simple instruction can also help us. And that is actually the need for parents to also be part of some of this social media. Because once you are there, you can monitor the activities of your child. I hope you know that. It's possible for you to, because you will see, you will just search and the name will come. In fact, without you searching, once your name registers, it's likely to crawl and link you up. It will say, do you also know this? You want to befriend this one? And that way, you can now open the general site of that child and begin to monitor that. So this is what you are doing. Now, this is not right. This is how we should do. We have to set standards, and God will help us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, we want to give you this general information that we can't take it all here. Several of the questions we have here are basic. And what you do about basic issues like this is to refer you to try and do basic computer training. Take some time out of your schedule, enroll in a nearby computer house near you, and do some basic training on how to at least type, open an email address, and use some facilities of the computer. For example, lecturer asking, how do I use how do I make PowerPoints? It's a very basic thing. So once you have once we send you this to your email now, you can copy it anywhere and use that old one to also make some of your PowerPoint notes you want to present. Start like that, but at least do some basic training for yourself. We cannot change that. And the fact about getting good facilities, for people who said mails cannot open on your phone, there are capacity. If your phone don't have the capacity that mail can open on it, there is no way mail will open on it. And now, I'll quickly tell you this before we pray. One, that to put lectures online, you need to have, if your institution have a repository, ask them how you upload. You upload it, and people in ICT, your institution, will assist you on that. In area of no network coverage, here we are having network because it's Airtel or what we are using here. Etisalat. Some of us just spend maybe 1,000 or 2,000 naira in the whole month. You enroll in a plan, either 1,000 or 2,000 naira, depending on the amount of data you download, and that will take you for the whole of that month. So it's no longer an issue. Anywhere we have network in Nigeria, you can at least utilize the facilities of those networks and ensure you are connected continually. And then we're talking about ensuring not to reduce waste of money. If you are using money to learn, that money cannot be said to have been wasted. If you spend 1,000 or 2,000 a month just to ensure that you are connected, and then by the time you learn how to use the computer, in that same place, in most cases, they will teach you how to open an email. And on account of our time, in order not to eat into the time for the next program, at this point, we want to rise and pray. Can we stand as we turn this, what we have learned today, let's turn it over to God. First, you remember that I called a scripture for us when we were starting, that all old living. Some of us, even as we are seated here, we have this idea that I'm too old. Somebody says so, too old to learn computer. Let all those old stuff, old living, let it wash, get out of you, so that you are living and you are active and receptive for what the Lord wants to do, because the Lord wants to use you. First, I want you to thank God that He exposed you to this opportunity. You are alive, you are active, you are real. The sacrifice lamb is coming to dwell in you. Thank God for it, because it has been possible for you. Just thank Him for the opportunity for this exposure, that you are alive to see this, that you have seen that it is possible. Thank Him for adding you on to this, making it possible for you to be a partaker. I want you to thank Him because He has placed in your hands very, very wonderful instruments. And even the ICT has become a very wonderful instrument that is going to assist you in delivering unto Him what He wants you to deliver to Him. Thank Him and exalt His name for this opportunity He has created for you. I want you to talk back to God about it, filter it. The definite place He wants you to start. I want you to start agreeing with God that on the basis of what you have seen now, this is where you are going to start, so that you have a personal commitment as to what you will do soon after this place. There will be milestones you will have created in your mind, that I will do this by MLR. If I have an opportunity to come here, we will have been clear that I've attained to this level. I want you to tell God, make it a commitment here. Tell God what milestone you will have achieved in the next 3 months, and what milestone you will have achieved by the end of this year. Talk to God about it. Ask Him to give you grace for it. Now, if you were before this time one person that is very resistant to transformation, ask the Lord to open your heart to new ideas. Your mind has been renewed. The word of God has come in. Ask Him to transform you. Transformation comes by the renewal of the mind. The Lord has allowed a barrage of the truths of His word to come to your heart this time. It is because He has counted you worthy to benefit of this you wonderful of His creation. He has made it possible for you to know that what is capable of doing is wonderful, is manifold. Now that you are going to be a beneficiary of this, ask the Lord to open your heart to it and allow you to be receptive. Ask Him to renew you as a person. That age is a matter of the mind. Ask Him to renew you. Ask Him to strengthen you and make you ready to be able to learn and to use this profitably for His heritage. Ask the Lord to help you not to be conformed to this world, but to continually be renewed as you have your mind renewed. Therefore, purge out of yourself all old living, and even as Christ our Passover lamb is sacrificed, ask the Lord to grant you grace to make sacrifices to make this possible. I want you to begin to round up as we thank Him, as we exalt His holy name for all that He has done, as we bless His holy name because He has made this possible. In Jesus Christ's name we have prayed. Our dear Father, we thank you once again because you have made us beneficiary of this your manifold blessings. We want to thank you because if we have been told that it is possible to benefit from this kind of seminar here, many will have thought it is not possible. But our eyes have been opened. You have taught us to know that with you all things are possible. Lord, we return praise, glory, and adoration to your holy name in Jesus' name. Lord, we've heard of you. Your words are true. You have come that you might open our minds to the enormity of the responsibility you have placed before us. It's life for life, Lord. Because we have realized that it is life or life, we ask, Lord, that you who has made our life to be that crucial before you, you help us to have the understanding that even the life of your heritage you have placed in our hands is even far more crucial. And the grace to use this opportunity and these graces with which you have blessed our life to bless this your heritage and turn them to be instruments that you will use to take the world back to yourself, grant unto us this moment in Jesus' name. Lord, we plead with you. Remove every old stuff, every old living from us. Lord, every fixated idea that we can't change, that we can't learn, remove it from us even at this moment in Jesus' name. Lord, purge us of all those ideas. Renew our mind. Your truth has come. Let this truth renew our mind. And having become unleavened and having realized that Christ our Passover lamb is sacrificed, grant us grace to make the necessary sacrifices that we ourselves will be ready, will be instant, will be men who will be useful to you in transforming, Lord, the nations in the coming days in Jesus' name. We worship you because we realize that with us you will be able to do all things. You said we can do all things with you in our lives. Help our lives, Lord. Help us indeed to be useful unto you. Lord, we ask that we will not tell stories about this as in the coming days. We will not come telling stories about these issues. Rather, you will help us to make definite commitments. You will help us to place out definite milestones we will realize in the next 3 months, in the next 1 year, so that by the time we meet again, Lord, the testimony will be wonderful about what you have done with us on account of this training you have granted unto us. Blessed be your name because you had an answer. Unto you be praise, glory, adoration forever. In Jesus Christ's name we have praised.